that's how you start a World War III. You start a World War III by doing something that, other than people that wanted this forever, who else thinks that's a good idea? Who else thinks it's a good idea to just attack a country that isn't doing anything? They haven't done anything. Like, if you proof that they have developed the depleted uranium and they've got it up to a point where they've got it to what percentage does it have to be? Like, they're at 60, right?
But that's way more than you need.
Way more than you need, right? So it shows that they're at least ramping up their production where it's possible to get it to whatever it needs to make a
That's way
nuclear
more
weapon.
than you need for civilian use. Right.
But that's still, it's not clear that that justifies an invasion when North Korea has nuclear weapons.
Right.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, are we just trying to prevent them from ever getting to a point where they're like North Korea? Who the f is worried about North Korea?
I think the difference, as you correctly said earlier, is these people are very different to the North Koreans, right? North Korea wants to be left the f alone. Iran does not want to be left alone. Iran wants to dominate the region. That's why they fund Hamas. It's why they fund Hezbollah. It's why they fund the Houthis. It's why they are doing shit. That's why the Gulf countries and Israel are very worried about them, right? So that's the difference, I think. And then there's the, some of the people we've had on the show who are Iranian have talked about the what is it called, 12 Shia Islam? Is that I can't remember the details, but basically they have a kind of messianic vision of what's going to happen, and they believe that when the world ends, that's when the prophecy will be fulfilled. You don't want those guys with nuclear weapons. Right.
That's a good point.
Yeah. So from that perspective, it's different to North Korea. And so that's, I think that's part of the thinking. But your point is interesting to me about the fact that this doesn't reflect what people, as we're not Americans, but it doesn't seem to have been part of the policy platform of the Trump election at the last election, right?
No, not at all.
But I do think there is some kind of strategy behind all of this. And I'm very curious what that is. Because I guess if you think about it logically, you would say, well, is it an attempt to effectively push back against China and Russia infiltrating all these countries, right? China and Russia were very close with Maduro in Venezuela. Very, very, like Francis is saying, Hezbollah training camps, Island Margarita. Where was the oil going, right? Same with Iran. I mean, Iran sells its oil to China. And sends suicide drones to Russia to use in Ukraine. So maybe it's that. Maybe the strategy is you're trying to push back against Chinese and Russian influence in all these countries because you can't attack them directly, right?
Yeah. It just seems so insane based on what he ran on. I mean, this is why a lot of people feel betrayed, right? He ran on no more wars and these stupid, senseless wars, and then we have one that we can't even really clearly define why we did it.
Well, but he said he's against endless wars.
Well, they're all
against endless wars.
Listen, man, they're all endless. Did you ever hear Rumsfeld talk about Iraq when it first happened?
Tell me.
They were talking about like 6 weeks. 6 weeks.
Oh yeah.
6 weeks.
Yeah, but they put that was ground force, and I know that they've not ruled that out. For me, that would be.
They have.
They have not.
Oh,
my understanding is
they
have not. Yeah.
I thought you said and now.
Yeah.
Have now.
No. But they don't seem eager to go into. I mean, I criticize the Venezuela action because I sort of was like, how are you possibly going to run Venezuela? And then I think a little bit more time passed, and I was like, oh, they're not going to try to run Venezuela. Like, that's not what this is.
They just wanted to take over the oil.
Yeah, and even there, I mean, the oil, it's not significant at any global level. It's hard. I don't even think it's really about the oil. I don't think it's about the oil. I don't think it's about the oil in Iran either. Well,
the oil reserves are significant. It's just the type of oil and how to extract it is extremely difficult.
Oh, it's the worst, Joe. It's in the the big abundant reserves are in the Amazon. So you're talking about what a nightmare. It's super far away. It's terrible. You had a guerrilla conflict. If you had a guerrilla conflict break out around those oil facilities, I mean, it's already more expensive because you have to heat up that particular type of, it's really heavy oils. To heat it up to get it out of the ground, then you have to heat it to transport. It's a total nightmare. And as a conservationist, I would say that would be the last place I'd want to see us getting oil from. There's a lot of other places that have oil. We shouldn't be going into the Amazon.
So what, if anything, makes sense to you about this attack in Iran?
I don't know that I'm not sure what I think of it. I mean, I don't like it. I mean, the whole older system was that you had this international the Security Council would have to agree. The Congress would have to agree. That's all gone now. I mean, it's just a totally different. This guy is just acting. He says he's not getting where they want to get in the negotiations with the Iranians, so he says we have some leverage over you, and we're going to use it. Similarly,
but clearly, Israel wanted this.
Israel has its own motivations, I think.
Yeah,
but I think it's not quite accurate to say that. I just don't think. I think all the evidence shows that Trump is his own man, and he is the president, and literally he couldn't even give Elon the battery subsidy that he wanted. You know what I mean? It's like,
I get that.
I've never seen a politician act that independently. A president act that independently. So I'm skeptical of. I think that Rubio was sort of like, well, they were going to attack, and so we had to. There's some of that, but I just think Trump's doing what he wants to do. And we should. You
really think it's that simple? Trump's doing what he wants to do. That's it?
Yes.
You don't think people are influencing him? Because there's a lot of war hawks around him, right? There's a lot of people that want this and have for a long time.
Netanyahu's in there, but then Tucker was in there a bunch.
But do you think
Tucker
has the kind of influence that Netanyahu has?
Well, I guess if you just base it on the outcome, then the answer is no.
No.
But that's what I'm saying. I just think he listens to everybody, but I just don't think it's. Russians aren't behind him. Israelis. Trump is. Look what he's been through. He's got where he is. There's no way he's gonna. They don't have anything on him. That's
how
my
do you
view.
know that?
I don't think they have anything on him.
But how do you know
that way? Well, he could, but we don't see any evidence for it.
Well, you wouldn't see any evidence until it broke out. Until they released it.
Yeah, and we'll get it. I'm sure we'll get into Epstein, but I just think when you don't have evidence of something, then you can't assume that it's happening. I haven't seen any evidence. I've seen evidence that Trump is fully independent. With it, particularly this case of Elon, surprised me. I would have thought at a minimum you'd give your largest campaign contributor the one thing he wants. Doge was something he wanted too, but and then I look at Iran and I kind of go, Trump has always won. Trump has been criticized. He said he doesn't want Iran to have a nuclear weapon for a really long time. I don't know the exact date, but certainly.
Well, no one wants Iran to have a nuclear weapon other than Iran, right?
Yeah, I think that
or their allies.
He also put it this way. He was also critical of the Democrats' approach, which was the sort of the mainstream IAEA approved approach, because of course under international law, Iran has the right to nuclear energy and to nuclear facilities, including the centrifuges and the enrichment. Iran has the right to all that under international law, and Trump doesn't agree with that, and he's not going to let international law get in his way.
So. When you say he has a right to it, you're talking just about nuclear power.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. But that includes enrichment. So,
to a certain point.
Right.
Right. But they've already surpassed that point, right?
Yeah. And I believe, if I'm wrong, I'll correct it on X, but I don't think it specifies the level of enrichment is part of the issue. And then you've got these centrifuges. And so it's all been a cat and mouse game. I personally do not doubt for a minute that Iran wants nuclear weapons. And that's what's been going on. I think most people think that, but the Obama administration was like, we can lift sanctions in exchange for controlling their nuclear program. Trump has not for a very long time agreed with that approach. I think he was criticizing it for many years before 2016, before he decided to run, but definitely for the last 10 years.
Did you read the thing today that came out that they're discussing some sort of a leak transmission that seems to be an activation of terror cells?
Iranians have?
Yeah.
but I'm not surprised.
Right.
Sounds bad.
Yeah.
That's one of the things that obviously, that was the first thing I thought of, was like, oh great, are we going to get a bunch of Iranian suicide bombers in the United States now? It's obviously.
I don't know if it's going to be suicide bombers, but I would imagine it would be something a little bit more destructive than that.
Could be. I don't know what they can get in. There's Sean Ryan's been having folks on that say that people are getting in with heavy artillery. I just don't know the status of it.
Well, the real problem is
they can do
for 4 years the border was wide open.
Oh yeah,
and definitely some people from the Middle East got through, and we have no idea what is I'm sure there's some intelligence agencies that have an understanding of what the threat is.
I hope so. I think we see that these terrorists are able to do an incredible amount of damage with pretty simple rifles, and sometimes was it the French, that particular terrorist action, there were other people that were using bombs that only killed one or two people, but the guys with the machine guns were able to gun down dozens of people. So certainly that's scary. I think none of us want. I think that's where a lot of Americans, when it happened, the reason so many people were against it, I believe a majority is against it, is because you're like, great, what are we, you know, first of all, is it going to be another endless war? And second of all, are we going to get a bunch of terrorist actions here? I think if we did, I don't think support for the war goes up. I think it goes down.
Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, the whole situation internationally has been so tense already with what's going on in Gaza, with what's going on in Ukraine. It's like, and to add this to the pile, it's like, I mean, it genuinely feels like there's a real possibility that we might be entering World War III.
What would that look like?
I don't know. I never expected Iran to start attacking. You know, they launched bombs into UAE, Dubai. I mean, where else?
I think they expected that, though, right? I mean, it makes
Really?
Iran looks pretty isolated. I mean, I will say, you know, I was totally, obviously, maybe not obviously, but very much on the left and was opposed to all the stuff Reagan was doing. I remember even in the 80s. But it's like he really did. I'm not gonna say he was the only reason. There was obviously a bunch of weakening within, but I mean, he really did push back against communism. He challenged the entire foreign policy establishment on the basic view of just, you know, of just kind of keeping it, you know, keeping the communists where they were. And instead, Reagan really pushed back against it and said there's got to be regime change. It sort of almost had a moral, certainly there's a defense buildup, but a moral argument. And I think it had a big impact, and to bring down communism. So the Iranian, I'm obviously have very mixed feelings about it, especially when you're in a moment of just such incredible chaos like we're in now. I tell my students, I'm like, you get to live through one of the most interesting moments in history, certainly in the last 80 years, because the entire paradigm where the United States had these allies and everything's going to go through the Security Council and we're going to try to make it to the UN and there's got to get agreements and all this stuff, that's just gone. I mean, it's gone to the part where they don't even, where you're kind of like, what's going to happen inside Iran? They're like, that's not our concern. We hope that there's an overthrow of the government, but we're not like going to necessarily commit to that.
Well, they're also calling on the people to rise up, which is, you know, I mean, look at what they did with the protesters. I mean, they killed thousands of people. It seems like they've been preparing for this for a long time.
The Iranians?
Yeah.
They're dug in. Now it's the son, and he's just part of he represents the IGRC, the security forces. I mean, it's their guy. I mean, it's what you would do. It's rally around the flag. It's classic what happens. And so, but you never know. I mean, these guys then might just negotiate more what the Trump administration wants. And I think the Trump administration is like, we'll just keep killing your leaders until we get somebody in there that will make a deal with us. I think that's how Trump thinks about it.
Really?
That's my best guess.
You're smiling. Do you think this is...
Because it's so, Joe, it's just like, you just look at all the think tanks and all the white papers and the State Department and the planning and whatever, and it's just like, Trump's just, he's going to listen to Tucker, he's going to listen to Netanyahu, and he's going to decide what to do.
If you enjoyed today's video on Anonymous Official, leave a like and subscribe if you haven't done so already. Thanks for watching and sticking with us.